in town because I don't know. I didn't turn my voice down a little bit because neighbors, I think. So I'm walking by.
Yeah, we don't have. I mean, a couple 100 yards that way.
Yeah, but I can go out there
About
and
300 or 400 yards that way.
I can go out there and talk as loud as I want, not worry about some neighbor.
Out here in the compound.
So, Mr. Jones, how you been?
Isn't Waco on Netflix now?
Speaking of Netflix, you ever heard of this movie called The Platform?
I don't think so.
I want to check it out. I saw TikTok videos of it. Apparently, there's these floors and all these levels. And the higher the levels, the better. Because they put all of this luxurious food onto a platform. And it drops.
Just keep going, but this reminded me of a joke.
It drops. So the first layer, the first level, they get the best of the best. They can eat what they want, drink what they want. It's only there for like 30 seconds or a minute or something like that. Right. Then it goes to the next, and it goes to the next. And there's two bunks. There's two bunkmates for every level. And it just keeps going down and down and down and down and down. So by the time it gets to the bottom level, there might not be food there. So at one bit I was watching, the guy goes, I used to be on level 134. Sometimes there was food. There was no food that came down. Well, how'd you survive? And he's got like a knife and a pillow. He's like, wait a minute. Didn't you say you moved up because you lost somebody else? They lost their bunkmate.
This sounds vaguely familiar. Maybe I have seen it.
I guess he would kill and eat a bunkmate.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't that show, but it sounds familiar. Like
it's a movie.
Something. Yeah, I think I've heard of something.
I want to watch it. I'm gonna have to check it out tonight.
No, but it reminds me of a joke. It's, this woman walks into a store, and the store owner goes up and goes, "What are you looking for?" It's like, "Oh, I'm looking for the perfect man." It's like, "Well, we have 6 stories here. Just go ahead and shop around." It's like each story goes up, and each story that you go up in this store, what you're looking for will get even better. So she goes to the first floor.
But you can never go back.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
She goes.
Okay.
She goes to the first floor, and it's this guy that's like really attractive, and she's like, "Wow!" It's like, this is incredible. He's like really attractive, but I want to see what's on the second floor. So she goes to the second floor, and this guy's really attractive, and he's wealthy. So it's like, wow, she's wealthy too. But let's see what's on the third floor. So she goes to the third floor, and this guy's attractive, wealthy, and he listens to her. It's like, wow, that's incredible. But what's on the fourth floor? So she goes to the fourth floor, and this guy's the first 3, but he's also a really great father. It's like, well, if it's this great, I wonder what's on the 5th floor. So she goes to the 5th floor. It's the first floor, but he's also like very caring and very charismatic. She's like, wow, that's incredible. The 6th floor has to be something like even better. What more could I ask for? So she goes to the 6th floor. It's the store owner. The store owner goes, this is proof positive that women are impossible to please. That one's for you, YouTube. Oh, jeez. Welcome back, buddy. Hey, I told you. I already told you that the last episode we had,
yes,
fucking struck. We didn't get a strike, but it
was removed. It was taken down.
It got removed.
And here's the best part. What did I talk about? Fisting babies or like?
Yeah, it was something like that. Because I'm like, oh man, this is the thing that'll probably get us banned. There was a couple things where I'm like, this will probably be the thing.
Jokes about women belonging in the kitchen, deserving black eyes, not making me the perfect sandwich.
I got another one for you after, but go ahead.
I said all kinds of fucked up shit. Look, I'm not even gonna lie. There was a few jokes in there. I'm like, all right, let's push the envelope a little bit. That video got taken down on YouTube. Thanks.
It's back up. It's edited and back up. I only had to cut out like 5 minutes of it, but still.
The original was removed for misinformation of COVID. I'm not even going to repeat it because I don't want this.
No, it won't. It was COVID misinformation. That's why it got removed.
And all I talked about was a conspiracy theory.
It was one of those crackpot theories of nanotech, and don't
go there.
Yeah, if you know it, then
if you can get the message. And hey, I mean, really, that is a negative attitude.
Yeah,
men with really negative attitudes can spread misinformation.
That's right. You see RoboCop? It's a really small movie. Anyway. Yeah, so that's what got us that video taken down.
All because we talked about a conspiracy thing, and that fucking makes you wonder.
And you did, and you said like, I went back when I was editing it. I was like, yeah, he did. It was right at the right as he's talking about it.
I'm talking about a friend of mine. She talks about how she's such a conspiracy theory nut. I won't even do it again. I don't even want to do it again. For fuck's sakes, YouTube.
Yeah,
I love you. You're like the fat chick. God, you suck dick great, but
you know what was funny?
I don't want to be with you in front of my friends. I'm sorry.
You know what was funny?
What, we say sorry, but we don't really mean it?
Yeah, that's funny.
Cheers, buddy.
Earlier this week, my other half, I was sitting out on the couch, and this is just a small thing that made me smile, and I almost called you. She got She got up and she goes, "I'm gonna go make your sandwich." I go, yeah. I go, I was so tempted to call you, put you on speakerphone. I was like, dude, you're right. No, she got up and she goes, "I'm gonna go make your sandwich." I go, "That's right, you are." I go, and she goes, "You know what? Now I'm not."
She still made him the sandwich, trust me. She did, didn't she?
No. I had to laugh at that though.
That's great. I'm not gonna make it.
Jeez.
I joke. I hate this. I swear to God. We're like the retarded cousins of Nostradamus.
You know what's weird? Just I've gotten a couple conversations this week about just shit that's going on right now.
Oh.
And it's
fucking crazy.
It's just stuff that's happening that's come up in conversations that we've had mostly on the show. And it's like tongue in cheek. And then like 6 months, 12 months later, it's like, oh wow, there it is. And it's really fucking...
We gotta start tongue in cheek in some good shit.
It's really fucking bizarre.
You know it's never gonna happen though.
No, it doesn't work that way.
No,
I don't
doesn't.
understand why. I'm like the horrible Nostradamus. It must have been one too many chair shots when I was like backyard wrestler. It's like, oh, I can only see the shitty stuff.
Sniffed a few too many of those light tubes after they were busted open.
Seriously.
Not supposed to smell that, Charlie. What?
It smells like... I don't remember where that came up. It was... Actually, I do remember where it came up. Go ahead.
Did you ever see the movie This Is the End?
Is that with like...
all the famous actors? Seth Rogen. It's
yeah. It's the
Parks,
it's
Geeks
like
and Freaks, or what is it? Geeks and Freaks. Seth Rogen's old crew.
Freaks and Geeks? Yeah.
Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah.
And his new stuff that his new crew that he's kind of transitioned to.
Yeah, this is the end of the world.
Yeah. I rewatched it.
And what's his face? Yeah, I haven't seen that since... I only watched it.
Do you remember the guy who played Scott Pilgrim in Scott Pilgrim versus the World?
Yeah.
Michael Cera?
Yeah.
There's two parts in that movie. And fucking that guy. 3, if you want to get technical. There's a part where he walks up to I think it was a Nickelodeon childhood star. You know Drake and Josh?
Yeah.
I think it was Drake or Josh. It might have been Josh.
Josh was a heavier set.
Yeah, I think it's him. Michael Cera in the movie walks up. "Hey, you ever do cocaine?" Blows a big poop in his face.
That's right.
He goes, "What? What is that? I've never done that before." Well, then you're in luck because that's some really good shit for your first time. Dude, the shit he had to... How do you get into the mindset to act like that? Then, you remember the Mindy Show?
No.
Or something like that? I forgot where she was famous, but she's a pretty cute actor, actually. I genuinely think she is. For an Eastern Indian girl, she's actually gorgeous.
What's that supposed to mean?
Oh, dude.
Usually they're hideous. But
No.
this one, not so bad.
No, you can't... Because of their customs and their religion, their policies, their procedures, whatever you want to call it.
You can't really see them.
You really can't. But she's a beautiful girl. She's a beautiful woman, honestly. She walks up to one of the main characters. I swear to God, I will fucking commit suicide if I don't fuck Michael Cera tonight. I swear, he's just so cute. Like, he's probably got like the cutest little pink butthole. That made me go, oh, maybe she'll get a hickey from it. Give me a hickey with your butthole.
Oh, what a great open line for a song.
And then there's one more part where Jay Baruchel, he plays. You ever seen the movie The Sorcerer's Apprentice?
No,
With Nicolas Cage. Okay, you ever seen the movie How to Train Your Dragon?
It's like the
Hiccup.
The
Dragon. How to Train Your Dragon. The movie with the kid rides the dragon.
Yeah, the CG one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
There's a what?
I don't know.
There's a live action.
There might be. I have no idea. But I thought you were talking about there's like an actor or something. He's just a voice actor.
He does a voiceover. Well, he's starring in a bunch of movies now too. But he's he goes to use the bathroom, and Michael Cera's got. At first glance, you see a girl. He's bare ass getting a blowjob from a chick, and then there's a girl in the back, like right behind his ass, like looking up at the guy. Is like, wait, what?
Wait a minute! Don't you ride dragons? Aren't you in a children's movie?
He's getting his salad tossed and his pole waxed. All right, good on him, I guess.
Oh my god!
Those 3 moments fucking made the movie. And when they talk about raping Hermione.
Raping who?
Yep, Emma Watson, the girl who played Hermione.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she stumbles back into the house after Armageddon's already happening. She's like, I just need to lay down and rest.
Isn't there like a multitude of different like end game scenarios there?
No,
It's like the Earth opens up and
it's Rapture. That's all it is.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in such a long time.
You do see the giant devil or hell beast get his dick cut off with a laser.
That's right.
Yeah,
I do remember that.
A huge doll.
It's weird. Doesn't it fall on somebody?
I don't remember.
Maybe that was something else.
I know Jonah Hill gets raped by a demon.
That's right. Didn't Michael Cera get...
Oh my God, this is really happening. You're not really fighting back, Jonah.
Help.
Will this make me funny again?
I know, he's pretty good in Don't Look Up.
Yeah, he got fat again. I'm sorry. He gained the weight back.
That is weird. Why is that? Why is it when he lost the weight, he also lost his funny?
Because nobody laughs at the fucking skinny funny guy.
Here's a question for everybody. If Chris Farley dropped a ton of weight and was like our size,
Nobody would have liked him.
you think so?
Oh, fuck yeah. What? Look,
I'm not arguing it either way.
Picture Patrick Swayze. Remember the Chippendales bit?
No.
Picture that shit reversed. Yeah.
Not even reversed, just two Patrick Swayzes.
Two Patrick Swayze. No.
No. I know, part of me doesn't think so either.
I think...
It's like when Dave Chappelle put on a bunch of muscle, you're like, well, I guess, but...
Well, he lost the voice.
Something's just not right.
He lost the voice. Bulking up like that. Remember, gotcha, bitch. He did that high, he used to have that high pitch.
Yeah.
Now when he talks,
it's
he's almost got like a scratch in his voice.
It's like when he started lifting, his voice kind of took on a persona, like, I have to match what my body looks like.
Yeah. He still has, you can hear the tone is there. His tone will always be there, but he almost took more like a gritty bass to his voice.
Yeah, it sounds like Phil Anselmo, 2010.
Well,
It is weird, though. But yeah, if Chris Farley dropped a bunch of weight, would he be as funny? And that goes for really any of them. I mean,
Kevin James. Although, I don't know.
Or Kevin Hart. Like, what if he was tall?
And his voice got deep? No.
What if he was tall with the same voice? Like 6'8".
All right, he
Same.
might still be funny then.
And it would be kind of really goofy. I mean, it kind of makes sense the way it is now, but if he was like a foot taller with the same voice, because what is he, like 5'6", 5'7"?
Okay, Google.
Like he can't be.
How tall is Kevin Hart?
Showing pictures that match.
Oh, he's shorter than his wife. Oh, hold on. He's about 5'6", 5'7".
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good guess. Oh, that's pretty short.
It was like 4'2".
He would have been. I thought he was like 5 feet. Get back in there. He's like my own stenographer. Like the Chappelle show. The travel stenographer.
The stenographer to go.
Yeah. You know who
I guess if it came down to it, I would bang Ben Affleck. Dude, I knew it was one of those guys. You were so gay. Stupid little dwarf. It's a battle show. No. You better not bring your kids.
You know who shouldn't bring their kids to the set of a movie? Anybody, as long as Alec Baldwin is on set. And guess who got off?
Did he really? I haven't heard anything about that in the news.
It was on Tim Pool yesterday. Last night. It was on Tim Pool yesterday. I got like an eyelash in my eye or something. But apparently he was acquitted of all charges. But the woman who was in charge of the arms on set is not acquitted. Explain that one to me. And furthermore, you know, it's really fun in all this. What this proves, if let's say Trump gets convicted and does jail time, that means in the elite and Hollywood and money world, you can get away with killing a bitch with a fucking gun, but you can't bang a broad or some whore and pay an adult entertainer and pay hush money.
I hate to say it like this. Do you remember the band Good Charlotte?
Mm.
Lifestyles of the Rich of the Famous, the song?
Right.
Well, did you know that if you were caught and you were smoking crack, McDonald's wouldn't even want to take you back? You could always just run for mayor of D.C.
That's true.
Did you know that you can get away with killing your wife? Or something like that?
Well, evidently.
As long as you got the cash to pay for Cochran. Remember Cochran? Johnny Cochran?
Johnny Cochran, yeah.
Holy shit. That guy tore up the law world in like the early 2000s.
But, yeah. So if he's acquitted of... At the very least, I've thought... I mean... That was we were talking about. That was another one we were talking about earlier. That was one of the things that came up in conversation earlier this week. It was a tongue-in-cheek thing. We're like, they probably won't get anything. Watch. And then here we are. That happened last spring, I think. So about a year ago.
About a year.
Yeah, spring, summer,
not
something
even
like that.
Involuntary manslaughter, or
that's what I figured. Not even involuntary manslaughter. Nothing. Like what?
Which, if you were to go outside right now and light a firecracker off, and it exploded in somebody's face and caused them to have an asthma attack and die,
right?
All you did was this: light it, throw it up. They decided to walk towards it. You could get involuntary manslaughter charges, and you ain't gonna get acquitted.
Charges? I don't know. Well, you might be charged with it, but I don't know if they could convict you of that. Because if you light it up and just chuck it, and they decide to walk to it, and like, it wasn't like I threw a firecracker. It wasn't my choice.
So answer me this: why, if you could get charges, but not, you can get charged with that, but not be convicted of it, why is this woman who was in control of the prompts not being acquitted when Alec Baldwin will sit there and tell you the rules? You never point at anyone offset.
Right.
He knew the rules.
That, and which
he chose to point it at a cinematographer or whatever she was,
right? Because
she said something.
Yeah, allegedly they had problems. Which Alec Baldwin has problems with
everybody.
Fucking everybody.
What a piece of shit.
But with the person in charge of the firearms on set, I was okay with like, okay, so she still has charges against her because it is her responsibility to check the weapons.
Yeah.
Fine. But Alec Baldwin, they're all given a crash course on how to handle firearms.
Before you go, I think I know where you're going with this really quick. But in all honesty, does Alec Baldwin seem like the type to let you educate him on anything?
regardless, they're giving it that you can't use that as a defense. Like,
Oh no, I'm just saying
you know
he strikes me as the type to be so
for sure,
conceited.
for sure.
Okay, yeah, I'm paying attention. God, finish blowing me. Yeah. I know how to use a gun. I'm about to fire one off. Want to watch? It's a fucking weirdo.
That's a grapefruit.
Hey, I like to salt it before I eat it.
But but yeah, that was somehow I didn't even know like really how that was just something I heard. I'm like, what? I gotta at least mention that one because there again, there was another tongue-in-cheek thing I said, and
He straight up got away with murder.
it seems to be literally, yeah, literally. I don't know.
He also strikes me as the type to, like, if one of the grieving family members came up and just said, hey, you know, I understand it was an accident. You know, thanks for apologizing. Get the fuck away from me.
Oh, him?
Oh, yeah.
No.
He seems like the type to be telling somebody to get the fuck away from him.
He's a world class. That was actually, I guess, they had a cheap movie. Was it Rust? I think was the name of it, and they had a really low budget. It was going to be like one of those Tubi movies or one of those free apps, something like that.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know. But apart from that cold opener, multiple cold opener, we got Ukraine war documents leaking. We got trans affirmation bills. The Florida bill of convicted child rapists
Get the death penalty.
Get the death penalty.
Good.
Bush loses $5 billion. I got a list of trans facts, which that will be fun. The L.A. and Chicago riots. Oh, wait, did you hear the trans?
Oh, I like the Bud Light TikTok you sent back. Laugh out loud, cry babies.
Oh yeah, you know, there's something fucked with that too.
Oh.
Which I really think, in regards to that, I really think there's two marketing teams, but I'll get to that when we get there. The riots in L.A. and Chicago, Matt Walsh being hacked.
God. Matt who?
Matt Walsh. He
Being
was
hacked.
You didn't hear that?
No.
That was all over. Random shootings meant to, all right. There were a whole bunch of shit, but first off, we'll go all the way back and touch on this Ukraine war document leak thing. From, this is from Newsweek. Have you heard anything on it? You've had to have heard something.
Yeah, I believe it was like an Air National Guardsman
Was it,
or something like that. He was some sort of soldier of one of the branches.
right.
And he released photos.
Documents, photos, documents. There's a whole bunch of different things. Basically, in like how they're actually or how the war is actually going on. Like, apparently, well, here this is from Newsweek.
Apparently, well, Russia's not losing like Biden says they are.
No, not as bad as they say they are. They do have a lot of losses, but they're not losing the war like they say they are. And really, Ukraine is on the fence here, or not on the fence. They're on the ropes. Newsweek has obtained more than 46 of leaked intelligence documents that were revealed 3 weeks ago and is publishing 20 of them here in the first time. The documents labeled secret and top secret offer important insight to the state of the Ukraine war, even as NATO expands in response to the Russian incursion and the U.S. politicians debate the wisdom of or necessity of supporting the war with financial and military aid. The stark conclusion buried in the documents is that Vladimir Putin's army has made little progress since last July. It has gained an average of just 2.5 kilometers, just over 1.5 miles of territory per month in its attack. An equally startling disclosure is that the number of Russian mercenaries fighting around, Bakhmut, exceeds the number of regular soldiers. According to the U.S. intelligence, 22,000 Wagner Group fighters constitute 70% of those fighting, thousands more than what was previously known, and certainly a critical new variable. One document notes that Russia has reacted to U.S. and NATO reconnaissance sorties. Several others report that supplies and support are heading to Ukraine ahead of the Ukrainian offensive planned for April 30th. what the point before the Ukrainian offensive here, the reconnaissance, that, and there's also proof in the documents that show that U.S. forces are actually boots on the ground over there and actually fighting, which Congress has to approve that, so that's completely against United States law. We're not supposed to be there. This wasn't our war. It's what we've been told. This wasn't our war, and yet this gets leaked.
I do want to say I did hear something about that. How there is photographic evidence of U.S. troopers fighting.
It was Air National Guardsman Jack Teixeira,
Yep,
21-year-old member of the Air National Guard, was arrested real quick too. You know how he leaked it all?
cell phone.
No, it was on a Minecraft Discord server in January. So you're telling me that all the security we have,
Minecraft,
an 21-year-old Air National Guardman leaks everything on a video game Discord server.
Oh, great!
Shit.
We shouldn't even make these jokes.
Here goes Gamergate again.
Yep, it's gonna be the video games are bad. They're gonna attack video games next.
It's not going to be because of the violence in them and everything. It's like they can use this to leak our information. We got to ban those too. Add to that Restrict Act we were talking about a week or so ago. It's like put video games in there. All the servers, fuck them. Everyone. No Uno, GTA, nothing. Hustle Kings.
Sudoku?
What's that Brawlhalla thing? I don't know what it is. Ban that too.
Bang a president's daughter?
Brawlhalla.
Well, I want to keep that game for myself.
Oh, that's experimental.
I'm Joe Biden.
Yeah, so the whole thing was released on a Discord server for a video game.
I think all that's going to do is they're trying. I don't know.
You know, Eric Swalwell.
Does that sound familiar?
Eric Swalwell.
Blank.
Let me get to the article here. He's a representative of California. He went on a tirade about this Jack Teixeira. And what's funny is the whole thing, like calling him like a traitor, and like, cause he got charged with the Espionage Act. So Swalwell goes on this tirade about him being a traitor and everything. He's like, oh, he should be given this, that, whatever. And the other thing, he did that on Twitter. And the thing that's funny is like, the wonderful thing about the internet is like, pretty much information is just readily available and really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Swalwell when was it? I don't know when exactly this was. This was I think it was last year? No. 2014. Okay. He got caught banging a Chinese spy.
Oh, that's right.
Fang Fang.
And Marjorie Green.
Taylor Greene.
Marjorie Taylor Greene blew it up on the spot.
Yeah.
That's entertaining from somebody who had an affair with a Chinese spy. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah, that's enough. We got to get that whole bit was hilarious. With the Congress said the floor moves to have those words stricken.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to review.
I don't like what you just said.
The floor, the Senate has decided not to strike the words. If the Madam Chairman would like to retract her statement, she can. Madam Chairman, do you want to retract your words? No.
Swalwell
Fucking mic drop.
says he didn't do anything wrong in his alleged ties to Fang Fang, a suspected Chinese spy. The California representative responded to House Speaker Kevin McCarthy's decision to block Swalwell from a spot on the House Intelligence Committee, claiming that he openly lied about Russian election interference. Swalwell made the comments on Wednesday while on ABC's The View. Of course. Good old View. I'm really happy that show exists. Even though it's just a fucking shithole show, there's so much dumb that comes out of that fucking show. Beginning in 2014, Fang, a Chinese national and suspected Chinese spy, worked to develop close ties with Swalwell's office, according to Axios. Intelligence officials told the news outlet that Fang allegedly was a part of Swalwell's fundraising effort in his 2014 re-election campaign. However, she didn't make donations. According to the report... Oh, I bet you she did. According to the report...
I bet you she took his donations.
Fang interacted with Swalwell a number of times over several years and placed an intern in the congressman's office. Here's when I'm gone. Well, all right. Swalwell said on The View that he handled the situation properly. Quote, "First and foremost, and you don't have to take my word for it, take the FBI's word for it. When they told me
they're believable.
Yeah, I know, especially now. When they told me who she was, I did everything that I hoped everyone would do, which was to cooperate and help the FBI, and she was removed," Swalwell said of Fang Fang. And Donald Trump, who would later find out about this when he was president, with the greatest access to classified information of anyone who walks the earth, if he could have embarrassed me by showing any wrongdoing after all the names he's called me, he would have, he added.
I bet you.
So this guy is the one that just goes off, like, this guy's an asshole. I turned in my Fang Fang. He is.
I turned in my Fang Fang.
He is the Fang Fang.
I miss Fang Fang. I want my Fang Fang back. I bet you she definitely had to, swallowed his pride and helped him campaign her all night long.
She didn't donate. I mean, not cash. Not cash. But definitely time. She put in the work.
Ass, grass, or cash. Nobody rides for free.
That's right. And he got back in office. Moving on. All right, Fang Fang. The bill,
I think we finished that bit.
The bill, Senate Bill 5599, or 5599. This is a bill that apparently the Senate passed, allowing children in the states of Washington and California, I believe. I think this is specifically Washington, yeah.
To basically self-admit themselves into runaway homes, basically.
To stay at shelters without parental notifications.
Yep. Your kid can up and leave in these particular states. Your kid can up and leave and check themselves into a shelter.
Between the ages of 13 and 18.
And you will not be made aware of it.
Oh. According to the statement released by Braun, Senate Bill 5599, which passed a party line vote, would clear the way for children between the ages of 13 and 18 to stay at youth shelters or host homes without their parents' knowledge for an indefinite time while seeking services related to gender dysphoria and gender transitioning. The bill that would not allow teens staying in such facilities to undergo gender-affirming surgery without parental approval.
You know what that sounds like to me?
You
remember Little Red Book?
Little Red Book.
Little Red Book, Little Red Book. Where was it? North Korea, South Korea? They had the red bands.
Oh, yeah.
They had the red books.
Yeah.
You pissed off, your teacher pissed you off. You could literally, if you wore that red band, you can go turn that teacher in, whether you had proof or not, and get rid of it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Get rid of that teacher. This, to me, look at all we're doing. Look at what we're doing. We're giving you all these places to go. Come to us. We'll take care of you. We'll give you everything you need. Leave your parents, the people that are educating you and raising you, bringing you up in this world to survive and think for yourself. We'll take care of you. We're going to tell you everything you want to hear and everything you need to believe. This way, when we push you back out into the world, you are nothing but what we want.
Doesn't it even
It's groomers.
I 100% agree, but doesn't this also seem like just one more attempt to break up the family unit? Just one more wedge driven in between children, and I mean I say they because it's very general and vague, but we'll just call it the media. They've tried to drive a wedge between men and women. And then they drive a wedge between women and women. Say there's the trans woman thing, and there's some women that be like, oh, I think it's empowering. Then other women, they're like, this is a fucking disgrace. They've driven the wedge between men and men for the same reason. They've driven a wedge between left and right. They're driving a wedge between black and white and every other race you can imagine. Now they're driving a wedge between the parents in a house and children, which could also subsequently drive a wedge between mother and father and the children, because of mother or father might agree or disagree and vice versa, and the kid's doing whatever. Or if you have two that are agreeing with one thing, they're saying there was a case, and I don't remember her name, or well, his name, of this mother who was forcing this gender affirming surgery on her daughter.
Her son.
Yeah. They went through the whole procedure, and they had, as the Hodge twins would so elegantly put it, a gash between their legs. The thing is he didn't want to go through with it, and it was uncomfortable and everything because he had the whole surgery. So he had a, quote, vagina, if that's what you want to call it, or just a fucking gaping wound. That's what it was. The mother would force him to put like this gauze or some shit and keep that wound open. And if I can find it, it's fucking sick.
Well, you search for that, and
All right.
Like the old saying goes, though, united we stand, divided we fall. What better way to keep the numbers from building up again? What better way than letting the house stack its cards than to keep it in separate piles?
Mm-hmm.
People will sit there, and you get lucky. If you actually, don't quote me on this, but I've heard of some professional card players that will talk to you about like blackjack and such, like double and down, splitting if you get like 2 10s, you can split and play. They will tell you, like, sometimes if you know how to count the cards without getting caught, you know when to do it. But for the most part, you almost never want to do that. You never want to split, because the better you have the stack, the better you're stacked up against the house, the more of a chance you have of winning. You split, you lose twice as much.
Right.
I think this is left, right, center, media, whatever you want to call it. Whoever's got this agenda that they're pushing, be it our current administration, they're trying, like you said, they're trying to drive a wedge between every facet of the family in society as they can, A. B, they're trying to groom the younger. Look,
it sure seems like that, because it's been said before, if just mathematically and just logically, in 20 years, the youth is going to be more conservative than liberal, the way it's going. Because, like, more and more teens, and left-leaning especially, are deciding not to have kids for whatever reason, like one reason or another, or they're aborting them. But what they do have is your kids. See, they go to public schools especially.
Oh, they're talking about public school shit going on.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about, but we'll get to it.
I got some stuff for you.
But the left has your kids. So if they're going to do all this kind of stuff, that's what you're talking about, indoctrination and everything else. And
thank you. That fucking word was right there the whole fucking time. I'm like, the fuck's the word?
But that's just it. That's the way they have your kid. So, and that's the way they're going to keep this movement going, is doing stuff like this. But it's weird, because it's all that's going to do eventually, I would think anyway, is just kill that public school system, because more and more, as this goes on, more and more parents are going to be like, I don't like this. We're going to find an alternative.
How many
to this
places
kind of
can they run, though? I mean, for God's sakes, there's you hear really quick. How many places can these parents honestly run, though?
At the moment, not many.
Down in Texas, there was an Uber driver in some sort of, I want to say it was some sort of a riot, some sort of a demonstration, something. A person came up, drew an AR-15 on them, put the bead on them. Well, this Uber driver, it's Texas of all places, this Uber driver drew his gun and fired and killed him. That Uber driver was convicted and charged with murder. The Uber driver was charged and convicted of murder.
That's okay.
Hold on.
I mean,
You talk a little bit. I'll look up the details. I saw that TikTok and I was like, I got to do some research. And unfortunately, my job didn't give me a chance that time.
see, I keep getting. I wish I had wrote down. It's been mentioned a couple times on Tim Pool and a few other podcasts, but I wish I could find the name. It was. It was a teenager though. But yeah, going all the way back, their mother would basically threaten this kid and say if she, well, this is her words, paraphrasing, if she doesn't insert this thing in her vagina, then like I'll choke her out or some shit like that, like just threatening her. And he did not want this, like he doesn't want to do it, but she is forcing it on him. Now, that's one instance. But you can't tell me that's the only one instance there. I mean, there's been how many people that have come out after the fact and regretted having this gender reassigning surgery. Like,
yeah.
What do you got?
So, U.S. Army Sergeant found... Now, actually, I thought this was more recent. Maybe I misunderstood. It's actually a couple years old now. U.S. Army Sergeant found guilty of murder in 2020 shooting of Austin protester Garrett Foster. Mm-hmm. Daniel Perry, who was driving for Uber, shot 28-year-old Foster during a protest against police brutality blocks away from the state capitol in July of 2020. Foster attended an Austin protest on July 25th while Perry was downtown driving for Uber. According to police, Perry stopped his car and honked at people protesting while they walked through the street. Foster was 20-year-old. Here you go. Foster, who was a 28-year-old white man and an Air Force veteran, had been seen openly carrying an AK-47. That's impossible.
Right.
Rifle at the time, which is legal. Maybe in Texas?
In Texas?
AK?
Yeah, I don't know.
There are conflicting accounts as to whether Foster raised the rifle to the driver first, but seconds later, Perry, who was also legally armed, shot and killed Foster and fled the area, police said. He called the police and reported what happened, claiming he shot in self-defense. The case sparked debate over Texas Stand Your Ground law, which allows people to use deadly force against someone else if they feel danger. They are in danger.
Yeah, that's a tough one, especially after the fact, because
So, something I really wish I had brought, regardless of which. Apparently, he made some comments, though, about being able to defend yourself against these protesters if you find yourself in the mix of them with very little remorse. That's why they're saying they convicted him of guilt. They found him guilty of murder.
Right.
I'm not trying to defend the guy. If the guy murdered in cold blood, he deserves to go to jail for life.
Sure.
But you see that video on TikTok of the blonde girl, of the white girl with her black boyfriend trying to get into the apartment, and like 20 or 30 black teens jump and beat the shit out of him.
I'll jump to that when we get there. But
You mean to tell me if that guy, they were protesting, they were looting, they were rioting because they were pissed off about Ash Ketchum not being the main character in Pokemon anymore. That's real, actually. I'll explain that after 23 years. So you mean to tell me if that guy had a pistol and pulled it out and shot somebody in Texas, he's going to jail.
Right.
20-1. 20 people versus 2 people. He shot and killed somebody. He should go to jail then by that count.
Right. And yeah, Alec Baldwin,
who points a gun, who's arguing with a cinematographer, points a gun, and if I remember correctly, correct me if I'm wrong.
Didn't he say like,
I'm going to shoot you?
Yeah, why don't I just shoot you or something?
Why don't I just shoot you? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he pulled the fucking trigger? Yeah, okay, Alec.
Don't you like how there's just
More
continuity?
like dick lick.
Everything is just like, our law is just continuous. It just works across the board for everybody, except for those holes here.
And the big one between our fucking president's head ears. That's called a fuck hole.
That's gross. Anyway, going all the way back, Braun argued the bill would disenfranchise loving parents, who he believes deserve a say in the care their children receive. No shit. He went on to argue children ages 13 to 18 can barely receive the same health services without parental permission under current Washington law. Quote, the only thing SB 5599 would do is cause harm by driving a wedge between vulnerable kids and their parents. At a time when a teen lacks the perception and judgment to make critical life-altering decisions, Braun said. A parent may not even know why the child ran away and could involve law enforcement or other groups in a desperate search, all the while going through an unnecessary emotional nightmare, imagining the worst about what may have happened. Here's the thing, too. If this kid went and ran off somewhere, I'm sure there's going to be some kind of list they have to write. It's like, oh, don't worry, I'm safe. So let's say in that instance, the kid runs off to one of these halfway houses, whatever the fuck you want to call them, this safe space. They're staying there. So now they're registered in whatever registry they have.
Feelings corner.
Sure. The parents go to the police. Our kid's missing. Help. What are the police going to say? They know where they are. Allegedly, I would figure they would have access to be like, okay, here they are. What are the police going to say? Don't worry, your kid's safe. We can't tell you where they are.
Yes.
What the fuck?
That's literally what happens.
Yeah.
Because having known somebody who went through the battered woman or a women's shelter.
That's fucking...
So when it comes to runaway homes, runaway houses, stuff like that, you're right. There is a registry. There is a list they go on of who's attending who where. It's almost like an elementary grade version of witness protection. The law knows where they are.
Right.
The person that could harm them doesn't.
Right.
And can't. They just have to. They have to trust in the fact that they are being well cared
So
for.
now they're building it up as if the parents are the bad guys. They're the villains.
And with all these fucking looting and rioting going on, why don't we fucking pass the bill in that place, Chicago?
Yeah.
Where they fucking all this shit's going on.
Here, last point. I'll just quote. Democrats have claimed many times that the brains of minors are not fully developed until the age of 22. Right now, they are sponsoring a juvenile offender sentencing bill, Senate Bill 5475, based on the, quote, the expansive body of a scientific research on brain development, which shows that adolescents' perception, judgment, and decision-making skills differ significantly from that of adults. It's revealing how brain research matters to them when juveniles break the law, but not when they seek life-altering, potentially irreversible health care. Again, it's just continuity straight through.
But that doesn't fit the agenda.
Yeah, it doesn't fucking matter. Don't worry about what fits the agenda and what doesn't.
I think there should just be one big old unalive movement.
And just add it on to... Well, no, I guess it doesn't really add on to that, but... No, it doesn't... That's called the comet. That's called... Where's the fucking asteroid?
That's called... What was it? Oh, what was his name? Drink the Kool-Aid? Jones?
Was it Jim Jones?
Jim Jones?
Is it Jim? No.
Jeff...
Yeah, it's Jonestown, but I think it's Jim Jones. It might be Jeffrey Jones. No, I think it's Jim Jones. Yeah.
Hold on.
You ever listen to... Just put Jonestown.
Jonestown.
It'll be on there somewhere.
Leader. Jim Jones.
Yeah. You ever listen to the audio of them drinking the Kool-Aid? Talk about fucked up.
Yeah, he's like, you hear him.
Like kids
Don't worry
and
about
shit.
it.
Yeah.
That's just them. It only lasts.
They're
for a
trying to
minute.
stop you from like seeing like our maker and these, yeah. Fucked up. There's a lot of people that didn't want to do it once they were there, but they got forced to. There's people with fucking guns in there sitting in or standing in the room.
There are people
forcing them to.
I guess there was they never released it, but I guess there's footage of people being held, pouring in the mouth and being held until they made they swallow.
I've heard a few different accounts of that. But.
We should definitely have one of those Jim Jones Kool-Aid party mixers for a bunch of these people pushing these agendas. Come on, guys. We want to tell you you're right about everything.
Jim Jones or Michael Jackson Jesus Juice?
I want Jim Jones.
Mm.
Come come on, guys, come to this meeting where we're going to tell you you're right and we're going to give everything you want. How many of those fuckers you think would actually believe it? I'm going to get everything I want and people are going to say I'm right? This is great. Just drink this Kool-Aid. Okay. It's not working. What are you talking about, motherfucker? I've been drinking arsenic since I was born. I was born in Jonestown. Yeah? Were you born in Butt Rapesville? What? No, God!
It's wrong, I think.
It's a good thing I'm a female or this would be gay.
What?
Wait, you're not a dude?
So, if you had Megan Fox, but a trans woman lying on her back,
can I tell if the gash has been... Can I tell if it's an artificial gash or if it's a real... Can I tell the difference? Regardless, I'm going to Pound Town either way. I just want to make sure I'll be able to sleep that night.
Either way, you're not. Florida bill enacts death penalty for children. No, what the fuck?
Oh! It's funny you go to that one next. Chris Hansen got his show back.
Chris Hansen. Is that the one?
Dateline?
Yeah.
Catch Predator?
Yeah. Really?
I think it's just internet right now.
Oh, perfect.
Mm-hmm. Good luck stopping that shit.
Especially if is it his own website?
Take a seat over here.
Is it his own website?
I don't know.
Because if he has his own website, he can literally fucking do anything he wants. As of right now.
Excuse me.
If it's on YouTube or something like that, then he's under the fucking same restraints that we are. But if it's his own website, like Alex Jones and all these, he can say what he wants, which would be great. And that's not even like freedom of speech for him. This is just like, I'm gonna just fucking like what oh shit.
Exactly that.
Oh, god damn it. From Project Veritas.
Oh, the fucking guy.
Oh my god. It's like him. He's like without chains and shackles. He can do whatever he wants.
OMG.
Yeah.
O'Keefe? No.
Yeah, is James O'Keefe.
James O'Keefe.
O'Keefe
God.
is O'Keefe Media Group.
That's right.
OMG. Yeah, it'd be like
holy
him.
crap!
It'd be
I'm
like
impressed.
him.
I got that one out.
What's his face there? If he has his own website, he can just go
Chris
after
Hansen.
whatever he wants, whoever he wants, and put it out there.
I still think
And
it's
something like that, especially in this day and age, will get fucking traffic.
You know what's funny? Before the whole Epstein, really quick before you go into that, the whole Epstein thing before it blew up, I remember seeing a meme. Now this is, mind you, like a year or two before Epstein shit. Like, wait a minute, what's going on with Epstein?
Yeah.
Like a year or two. So this shit isn't even in the rumor mill. I remember seeing a meme. It shows Chris Hansen, surprise guest star, host the Oscars. Hi everybody. Let's come take a seat over here. And it shows like a fucking mass exodus of people running out of the theater. It was like, and then a year or two later, Epstein Island. Wait, what the fuck?
Oh, you know what would have been a great meme? If Epstein Island, you see a picture of it, and you see just Hansen's face pop out of like the grotto in Epstein Island.
I stuck in the club.
Yeah, seriously. From the New York Post, Florida passes bill allowing death penalty for child sex abusers.
Yep.
Florida lawmakers have approved legislation backed by Governor Ron DeSantis that would permit the death penalty for those convicted of sexually abusing children. The bipartisan proposal, which passed by a vote of 34-5 late Tuesday. I wonder who those five were.
I was going to say, there's 5 people that fucking said no.
Check to see if those names are on the list.
I don't believe in the death penalty.
Will also allow juries to hand down death sentences by votes of at least 8-4 after previously requiring unanimous
decision.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
But this is stupid me from school days coming back, like having a school attack moment. Do you remember the movie 12 Angry Men?
Mm-hmm.
Where the innocent kid gets charged.
Mm-hmm.
And in the beginning, it's everybody's guilty, except for the one guy.
Yeah. And then it just sways as a...
The only issue I have, I'm not saying it happens very often, but with the way the fucking world is going, could somebody get the death penalty 8-4 and actually be innocent? and then it's an unjust conviction.
Sure, but that happens in a lot of death penalties. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, but that happens in a lot of...
Well, that's called Darwinism.
Yeah, that just happens. That happens in a lot of crimes where there is a potential death penalty. You're going to get some here and there that are innocent. They just get put to death. I mean, that happens. That's why there's a huge push to abolish the death penalty.
Oh, fuck no.
And
Let it ride.
In some instances, I'm like fine with that. It's like if you want to abolish the death penalty. This, one of them, not so much.
No, I
Like,
don't
this
think...
is one, but this, here's the problem with this. You're going to get the people that oppose the death penalty just straight out, regardless of what.
Yeah.
And which that might cause an argument in the sex abuser's indirect favor. But then also on the flip side of that coin, at least in Florida, where the death penalty exists for child sex abusers, is that going to deter like potential abusers?
Hopefully.
I don't know. I guess that's like I guess we'll see.
I'm going to go to another state and diddle little dudes.
Exactly. And we're going to get them up in New York.
And I want to shoot them in the face. And then fuck the brain hole.
The bill, which passed the Florida House of Representatives 95-14 last week. Who are the 14? Are they on the list?
I bet you all their last names have the word Steen in it. Steen.
And which DeSantis is expected to sign, would apply to those convicted of abusing a child under the age of 12. Quote, my view is that you have some of these people that will be serial rapists of 6-7-year-old kids, DeSantis told Good Morning Orlando. I think the death penalty is the only appropriate punishment when you have situations like that, which I agree.
Absolutely. Serial killers, mass murderers, all worthy of the death penalty.
Yeah, it says State Senate Minority Leader Lauren Book and State Senate Jonathan Martin, Republican of Fort Myers, or Representative of Fort Myers. The bill's co-sponsors argue that those who sexually harm kids are likely to repeat their crime and deserve the ultimate penalty. Quote, once a predator has a child ensnared, they will harm that child over and over and over again, and then move on to another innocent child. This is actually a bipartisan bill. So that gives me hope. Because both Democrats in Florida, Democrats and Republicans are like, mm-hmm. So there's still hope. There is still a glimmer of hope for us out there.
Oh, yeah.
Where we can just both sides be like, yeah, no.
Well, sitting in the middle of it all, more or less, it's nice to see both sides getting along.
It does. It seriously does. Let's get off that bullshit. Anheuser-Busch loses $5 billion. Which really... I mean, it's like 5% of their like net worth.
Of their net worth, not their net income.
No, not for the year, no, but of their net worth. So, I mean, it's 5% is still a big fucking number. I mean, we've said before, if the Saudis pulled all their money out of the United States, that's 4% of all the cash in the United States. That would fucking hurt a lot. Mm-hmm. So 5% is a big fucking number. And $5 billion is a big number. They pull out, and Saudis. Anheuser-Busch loses a shit ton of money because, like we said before, it's like Budweiser and Busch forgot who their target audience is.
Go woke, go broke.
Yeah. And
you've said it many a times.
They lose all this money, and immediately they put out this commercial. Have you seen it? It's like with these two big stallions. They went the complete opposite direction because there's a whole Dylan Mulvaney thing and the trans cans and everything. They put out this commercial that has these big stallions like the Clydesdales running through slow motion and talking about America's heartland. They had like this white cowboys. There's a white man out there because that's who the original drinkers of this fucking beer was, and like these old guys like farmers, and you see pictures of like the wheat fields and all this, and like your typical Budweiser beer commercial from the 90s and early 2000s.
You're talking about...
Which I think it was too little too late. Because after everything was done, like there's a lot of fucking people that are just like, I'm just not going to drink Busch Anheuser products anymore. But Anheuser has a lot of different fucking brands of beer out there. So I don't think a lot of people realize that. So they put that out. But then what I saw earlier and I sent to you, which this is why I said earlier, I think there's two fucking marketing teams.
Laugh out loud, crybabies.
Yeah. There's a billboard at the same time they put out this commercial trying to like be like a fucking cat in heat against like their original marketing base here. The purring and rubbing up against your leg. They have this billboard that comes out and it's the Budweiser and it says LOL crybabies next to it. So
next to a Bud Light can.
Yeah. Like what fucking message are we putting? Like you can't cater to both sides here. Even if you put it in Chicago, people have digital cameras. They're going to put it up, which clearly they did because I found it way out here in upstate New York.
Hold on.
We're a handshake about a beer.
Yes.
Rooted in the heart of America. Found in a community where a handshake is a sure contract.
Black and a white dude shaking hands.
Hi. Impressive carrying skills, right? I got some Bud Lights for us. So, I kept hearing about this thing called March Madness, and I thought we were all just having a hectic month.
Is that Dylan Mulvaney?
Yeah.
No, that cuts into the commercial. That's not the. It starts off.
Oh no, this is like a sub video. Hold on.
All right, yeah.
Hold on.
So, in response to that, to the backlash anyway, to Anheuser-Busch, this is from Deadline. Whoopi Goldberg to Anheuser-Busch on conservative backlash. Quote, "Don't let them scare you, let us scare you." End quote. Whoopi Goldberg and her co-host on the ABC's The View. This is going to turn into a fucking View, like, criticized show. It's all this. Weighed in today on the recent Budweiser controversies, reminding the beer maker that, as the show's Anna Navarro said, members of the LGBTQ community are Americans too. The conversation follows recent backlash, conservative backlash to backlash and boycott calls over Bud Light's partnership with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. Goldberg beginning the hot topic debate by noting that Budweiser was her beer of choice before she quit drinking, asked what conservatives are so angry about. Beer is not a Democrat or Republican. It doesn't have a belief system. It's just beer.
Sorry.
After releasing the campaign that featured Mulvaney, the Bud Brewers faced pushback from MAGA supporter Kid Rock, who shared a video of himself shooting his rifle at cases of Bud Light. The country singer Travis Tritt, who announced a ban of Anheuser-Busch products from his tour.
Blake Brian. Oh God, what's his name? Brent Gibley.
I have no idea.
Another country music star. Someone threw up a Budweiser. A Bud Light goes, fuck this shit. Slams it. Then they throw a Coors Light. Catches it. Goes, all right.
Yeah, that's right. There's another one that said.
I think it was Blake Shelton.
Maybe I heard something like that he switched to Coors Light now. He just has that on his tour.
This is a story bigger than beer. This is the story of the American spirit.
Okay.
Yeah, so in an apparent response to the criticism, Anheuser-Busch released an ad featuring Clydesdale horse galloping past various scenes of Americana, from rural heartland imagery to the Brooklyn Bridge. Quote, "This is a story bigger than beer," the narrator says. "This is a story of the American spirit." Said View co-host Sonny Hostlin. So now all of a sudden they unleash the Clydesdale horses, like, let's get the horses out because the horses are so much more American than trans people. On Friday, Anheuser-Busch CEO Brendan Whiteworth issued a statement on the matter. Quote, "We have thousands of partners, millions of fans, and a proud history supporting our communities, military, first responders, sports fans, hardworking Americans everywhere."
There's really not even an apology in there.
Yeah, the statement said, "We never intend to be a part of the discussion that divides people. We are a business that bringing people together over a beer." I think they did this And I don't think Anheuser-Busch was trying to go woke. What I think happened is because, just looking into it a little bit, Budweiser sales were plummeting slowly over the years. Like, they were going downhill. What's really big right now in the news is this whole LGBTQ especially trans movement right now.
They jumped on the trend.
I think what they did is they jumped on this thinking, and this is the owner of this, who's a woman, smart move now. I think she saw like this whole trend going on, and she made a comment. She wanted to market toward a younger audience because that would be the future. It's like, wow, so we're going to bring back Joe Camel of alcohol. So she jumped on this trans movement.
I wanted to smoke cigarettes after seeing that motherfucker play pool for like 20 years straight.
Conservative students, so they call it the tranny train. So she jumps on this tranny train and gets Dylan Mulvaney, who's probably the most popular trans right now, which I gotta, and puts him on their can to push that, not realizing that there's a huge fucking like split between these communities. So when they do that, most of the people that drink this beer, at least that like proudly sport it, are not that voting base and like that like political or social base.
Well, really quick, it's funny that you say that they put him on the can. How many times in our life have we seen something we like sport across a full demographic of people? And we're like, I don't know what you guys are all of a sudden so interested in it for. We've been interested in it forever. It's always been targeted towards us.
Music, wrestling.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Here's my problem with this jumping on the tranny train. With everything going on right now, I don't run a Fortune 500. Do you want me to run a Fortune? Do you think I'm capable of running a Fortune 500? Would you trust me with your Fortune 500 company? Fuck no. I barely trust myself with the 500 fucking teeth in my zipper. Okay? The fact of the matter is, you want to put Dylan Mulvaney because this dude is sporting tampons and Nikes and getting a lot of views on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok? Mm-hmm. Great. Go ahead. What else is a hot button topic right now? Oh, I don't know.
Abortion.
Race. Oh, politics. World policies. You mean to tell me Anheuser-Busch thought, the marketing team thought, let's just put one person on a can, even though we're not going to sell the can, we're going to give it to this person as a thank you for drinking our beer kind of thing, and let you sport it a little bit, and maybe our sales will go. No. You seriously? Kid Rock.
Here's what they should have done if they were
put fucking Rosa Parks on the can.
Well, not even like right now.
Aunt Jemima,
specifically,
Uncle Ben.
If they were gonna do, well, clearly they did, but if they were gonna go down that road, what they should have done was do a specific one for Dylan Mulvaney, and also do one with Donald Trump, and just push them both, because that way they'd be like, listen.
Oh my fucking God, Bush.
You got yours, and you got yours. Because then the people that had, like, the Dylan Mulvaney would be like, what the fuck? Whoa. Mega.
Megalite.
That probably, maybe not.
Guess what we just fucking did? We just gave them the fucking ammo they needed to make fucking $20 billion in sales next year.
That probably.
You're fucking welcome, Anheuser.
That probably would have solved your issue.
Ass Wiser.
Before it all went to shit.
Anal Pfizer.
Going back to Dylan Mulvaney.
Wiser. Pfizer.
Brought to you by Visor. Pfizer. Going back to Dylan Mulvaney, I don't really think he's trans.
No.
Because, I mean, we've seen like Blair White and a bunch of other ones, and they're very just, we've talked about before, they're much like most gay or lesbian or whoever people. Like, they don't go around sporting it all over, and they just do their thing and whatever.
Hold on, really quick. There are people out there that are very outgoing,
flamboyant, yeah.
Very committed to what they're involved with. But to literally, without saying the words, I'm mocking it. They are everything. People have been like dissecting his videos and his mannerisms, his language, everything. I'm like, this guy is intentionally doing this to stir a reaction. It's not because he wants to transition.
If someone has, say, like eating dysmorphia or some body dysmorphia, do they openly show like their belly or any flab that they may have?
No.
Why?
Really quick, it's funny that you say that but that's where like the depression and stuff comes. They talk about like that's what leads up to depression. And with a therapist, it gets them to be more comfortable in their skin. They talk about it. They learn to develop these coping mechanisms on how to display themselves comfortably and without feeling shame. That's not to say they still don't have issues. Obviously, some of these people with body dysmorphia, they need surgeries. They need to lose weight. They need to exercise. Whatever the case, whatever they need to go through to get there.
But if they're not at that point yet to have whatever they're doing, if there's someone that says is a little bit of body flab and they're very self-conscious about it, do they openly prance around and show the world that thing that they're very self-conscious about?
It's like he's speaking to my soul. What?
Do they do that?
I don't do that. I mean, no, they don't do that.
Okay. So, someone who is gender dysphoric, they have a problem with their body, the sex that they are, right? Gender dysmorphia.
In the most basic explanation.
Okay.
In the most basic, whatever.
Okay. Dylan Mulvaney, who apparently has gender dysmorphia, is specifically in one of his videos, he's talking about women have bulges too. And he's wearing this super tight dress and openly pointing out his package that's bulging out of his dress. If someone is self-conscious about their body, are they openly putting that all over the internet to show their body to the internet?
As is with the, I can't say this word, as is what would be the standard, I guess you could say,
right,
for research and basis of studies, people would want to say no. But
in most cases, no. Are there like black sheep or whatever?
They want to just
sure,
yeah,
just odd ones. Added onto that, do you think Dylan Mulvaney is good for actual women?
No, absolutely.
Is
not.
it empowering or is it a disgrace?
It's a disgrace. I'm sorry if that offends anybody. I want to agree with you first and foremost when it comes to the whole. I agree with you. Yeah, I want to say I want to agree. The fact of the matter is,
it just happened.
What I'm saying is, fuck you. What I'm saying is, I agree with you in the 100%. This guy is 100% false. If that's what you're saying.
I believe so.
I believe so too.
I think it's
the only reason I'm saying a lot of this other stuff is because I'm trying to approach it from as much of a middle standpoint as possible. Mm. Yes, 99.9% of people are going to sit there and they're going to hide this shit. That's why girls started rapping. That's why guys started tucking. Mm. Yes, it's a very uncomfortable process, but it got rid of the bulge. So to sit there and act like there was TikTok videos. He wanted to normalize the bulge. It's okay.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're not. That's not. Women that have bulges, they don't have bulges.
Like the conservative.
They're called dicks.
Again, the Hodge twins are like, man, it's not a bulge. It's just a really big clitoris. Man, look at that. That clitoris is huge. That's like 8-inch clitoris with a head on it. That clitoris squirts semen.
So But then there are going to be people out there.
Check that clitoris off.
There are some instances where people will try to put it out there as much as possible to force themselves into that position of comfort. I don't agree that. I don't think that's what Dylan Mulvaney is doing 100%.
I don't either. Because if you're wearing high heels, running around in woods, tripping, and then running away from bugs, that just seems like the stereotypical 1950s version of a woman. Like what he thinks a woman.
Not even.
Well, that's what he was doing. To me, it looks like a woman's just as helpless. Like,
and this is where I agree with you, and I'm going to go even more dark, I guess you want to say. This is where it's not even a disgrace. It's not even a mocking. It is straight up insulting.
yeah.
Even in the fucking, for fuck's sakes, look at all the Jason movies. Look at all the fucking Freddy movies, the Nightmare, the Halloween movies, the Hellraiser movies. Fucking you name it. Psycho, the original Psycho, Norman Bates. Attack of the Birds, or the Birds, whatever it was called.
The Birds.
The Birds. Sorry. In what fucking facet of anything do you ever truly see a woman like that? No,
it's like this exemplified cartoon, like caricature of what he believes a woman is.
No, he is legit putting on the persona of this is what media and movies and cartoons have made women out to be.
That's what I mean.
That's what I am.
That's what I mean. And I don't even think he really.
We are gonna.
If he didn't get the traction for doing this, I don't think he'd be doing this. I think what he started doing this is day 1 of being a woman, day 60 of being a woman, and doing all that, and then he started to get like blow up and TikTok,
now
and social
I got
media, and then businesses started being like, "No, we'll give you $50,000 if you push this product." And he was carrying around tampons and shit like that. He had a Tampax or whatever fucking commercial.
It's not even that. It's because if you want, I hate to say it, I won't watch the full video. I won't ever give him that fucking due.
I haven't had any of it. I've watched like different podcasts and other news things play his videos, and watching them like, what the fuck?
If you watch the full video or you watch to a certain point, it counts as a view. So I usually try to find out like which ones are showing, and then I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna watch that one, and I won't watch the whole thing either. I'm not giving that guy the credit of another fucking view. That's how fucking against it I am. I think it started out with the day 1, day 6, day 20, day etc., day etc. And when everyone's like, good, this is working now, I'm happy for him. If you actually look, this I did look into. Steady fucking increase of followers, viewers. All of a sudden, okay, he's plateaued. Mm-hmm. Something had to change to get that steam rolling again. I'm a ditzy girl who likes it in the butt. Poople. Tons of followers.
Maybe.
I bet you she's definitely going to be a virgin on her wedding night.
I'm sure she is.
I'm sure neither his mouth or his ass is going to be a fucking virgin.
So you know who, just going along with the trans thing, you know who the ACLU is? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, the ACLU puts out this list. It's a short list. It's 4 myths about trans athletes debunked. And I saw this earlier today, and I was like, this is fucking stupid. Let's talk about it. Oh, so this is a list. So they must be, yeah. The ACLU is defending the rights of transgender athletes in a lawsuit brought by cisgender athletes seeking to strike down the state's inclusive policy. Holy hellballs. The first one, the myth: the participation of trans athletes hurts cis women. Or women, for the layperson.
Oh, say some trans women are hurting real women.
This is from I'm on ACLU's website, by the way, so this is a fact. Including trans athletes will benefit everyone. You know, like the MMA fighters, is like the one that,
split her fucking head open?
Fox Fallon, that fucking broke 2 skulls. 2 skulls of, anyway.
And then the cheer. Hold on. You guys like that? You ready for more? It's like, what the fuck?
Jeez Louise. It's scaring me.
You're a girl?
Many who oppose the inclusion of trans athletes erroneously claim that following trans athletes to compete allowing trans athletes to compete will harm cisgender women. This divide and conquer tactic gets it exactly wrong. Excluding women who are trans hurts all women. It invites gender policing that could subject any woman to invasive tests or accusations of being, quote, too masculine or too good at their sport to be a real woman. In Idaho, the ACLU represents 2 young women, one trans, one cis, both of whom are hurt by the law that was passed targeting trans athletes. So because of those 2 women... Further, this myth reinforces stereotypes that women are weak and in need of protection. Politicians have used their protection trope time and time again, including in 2016 when they tried banning trans people from public restrooms by creating the debunked bathroom predator myth. The real motive is never about protection. It's about excluding trans people from yet another public space. The area of sports is no different. We can have women's bathrooms, men's bathrooms, family bathrooms, but for some reason, if we say, why don't we have a trans bathroom, then it's a fucking problem.
So let me ask you this. How do you feel about this whole trans and cis labeling shit? Because everybody...
I'm not cis. I'm just a fucking guy. That's it.
You're a fucking guy? Awesome.
I am.
Hope you're special.
I'm the straightest gay guy you've ever met. Or the gay straight one. I don't know. Fucking one of them.
Both work the same for me. Both work the same to me. So, what do you think about, like, so, with the whole trans and cis labeling, everybody is doing TikTok lives nowadays. Everybody. It's the new trend. It's
We can't do lives.
We should.
Especially lately.
Yeah, we should. We definitely should. So, yeah. So, a lot of them headlining, if you're not cis, you're transphobic.
Mm-hmm.
So then, if by all accounts, a trans woman, when they say is a woman, that is incorrect. Right. A trans woman is a cis woman.
Mm-hmm. I guess, yeah. Because they are, according to them, they are a woman. Or, here's, just throw this in there. What if they're trying to take over the term woman and call women cis women? So when trans women fully transition, they are now women. And the regular women
the cis
are now the cis women. So now they have an added label. Maybe
God,
not, I don't know.
I hate people.
On the other hand, including trans athletes will promote values of non-discrimination and inclusion among all student athletes. As long-time coach and sports policy expert Helen Carroll explains, efforts to exclude subsets of girls from sports can undermine team unity and also encourage divisiveness by policing who is really a girl. By Dr. Mary Frey adds that youth derive the most benefits from athletics when they are exposed to caring environments where teammates are supported by each other and by coaches. Banning some girls from athletics because they are transgender undermines this cohesion and compromises the wide-ranging benefits that youth get from sports. Except here's the fucking kicker. They're not banning any girls. They're banning guys who want to compete with girls. There are no girls being banned here.
I was going to say, yeah, there's not a single woman, lady, female, girl being banned.
We're banning some girls. Like,
no, you're banning guys.
I see some swinging dicks you're banning. I didn't see any girls. Here we go. The myth. The next one. Trans athletes' psychological characteristics provide an unfair advantage over, or physiological characteristics provide an unfair advantage over cis athletes. They're fact. Trans athletes do not have an unfair advantage in sports. Just ask
shit.
Fallon Fox.
You know what they want to do? Do you want to be included? Okay, trans woman category and trans men category.
They've already brought that up. It's like, oh, we can't do that. It's like, why? Because it would be fair. But here's
you have men competing against men again.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Wait, nothing makes sense.
God, you're God, you're punching holes in my false logic.
Yeah, you never see. There's never an argument with women transitioning into men to go into men's sports.
Well, I don't know about you, but I don't plan on competing in any kitchen games.
I mean, the Hell's Kitchen, was that it?
Yes, Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay. There's your next porno.
Gordon Ramsay.
Anal's Kitchen, starring Chef Gordon Ramsay.
It's the sausage I like. Oh God! Women and girls who are trans face discrimination and violence that makes it different to even stay in the school. According to the U.S. Trans Survey, 22% of trans women who are perceived as trans in school are harassed so badly they had to leave school because of it.
So, a quick question.
Yeah.
So, trans face now too?
Oh my God!
The way you paused, there's black face, trans face. It's got a dick stamped on my forehead. Trans face.
The idea that women and girls have an advantage because they are trans ignores the actual conditions of their lives. Trans athletes vary in athletic ability, just like cisgender athletes. One high jumper could be taller and have longer legs than another. But the other could have the perfect form and then do better. Oh, you mean like a man and another guy? You know, one is better at the sport than the other one? Or a woman and another woman, like say, the Williams sisters in tennis. How they were just murdering a bunch of people. Murdering a bunch of people on court.
I wouldn't play tennis against those.
Fucking
those
rams me.
I swear, that's going to be on a fucking porno now. We got to start copyrighting some of this shit.
Well, we've solved Budweiser's debacle, and now we got a new porno name out there. So we you know what? I would trust you with a Fortune 500 company.
Thank you.
We got good.
You.
We got good fucking ideas here.
Spider.
Oh, it's our buddy.
Hey, big guy. You want to be on the show?
Myth: sex is binary, apparent at birth, and indefinable through singular biological characteristics. They're fact. Trans girls are girls.
They're cis girls.
Yes. Yeah, see, I told you, trans girls are girls. They're taking over. No, they're not cis girls. They're girls. Girls who are trans are told repeatedly that they are not real girls, and boys who are trans are told they are not real. Yeah, and boys who are trans are told they're not real boys. Non-binary people are told their gender is not real and they must either be boys or girls. None of these statements are true. Trans people are exactly who they say they are. Everything. That's why there's... there's 78 genders a year ago. There's probably fucking 178 now.
Non-binary. You know what's sad? Intersex. Where they're born with both. Not her. Wait, hold on. This all started because somebody saw her hermaphrodite and said, "I wish I could play with my own pussy with my own penis." That's what started.
Was it you?
No, I don't have a pussy with a penis.
There's no one way for women's bodies to be. Women, including women who are transgender, intersex, or disabled, have a range of different physical characteristics. A person's sex is made up of multiple biological characteristics, and they may not all line as typically male or female in a given person, says Dr. Safer. Further, many people who are not trans can have hormone levels outside of the range considered typical of a cis person of their assigned sex. Okay, so by this logic then, once a guy gets to a certain age and their testosterone level just fucking dips off charts, then suddenly they're a woman. By that logic, if you don't have the right chemicals in your body, the right level of chemicals, and let's say a guy that hits 50, suddenly his testosterone levels are fucking way low, then technically they are now a trans woman.
So it's a medical condition. That's easy. There's a vaccine for that.
Brought to you by Pfizer.
Fucker. I took the Johnson & Johnson one.
That's probably the shitty one. No wonder why you got a fucking kidney stone.
No. Did I tell you about how many cans?
Yes, you did.
That's probably why I got a kidney stone.
Probably. And that's after
Holy
the fact.
Fuck.
Trans students need separate teams. This is a myth. They're fact. Trans people belong on the same teams as other students. You know, like that one, Leah Thomas, the swimmer, the NCAA swimmer.
The guy
that was ranked, 439 or 419,
he
something
was
like
damn
that.
near the last ranked swimmer in the men's category.
Low, and then lower. And then suddenly, there was actually an interview with the swimmer who came second place to her, who has a lot of who has a lot of accolades. She said when the name Leah Thomas was announced, she's like, well, that's weird. It's like, because they were a senior in college, and so was she. It's like, I've never seen this name before, so maybe it's just coming from somewhere else. But she goes, and when you're a top tier athlete, she goes, much like probably the professionals in professional sports, top tier athletes know each other. Like, they've been around, they've traveled around the world, they travel around the states, they know each other. She didn't know this, and a lot of the other top tier athletes in swimming for the NCAA, they all knew each other. And then this mystery person comes out of nowhere. It's kind of like bench warmers when they get the fucking the Puerto Rican guy is like, I am 12. It's like, does he have papers? And it's just in crayon, it says I am 12
with a $5 bill.
That's what
paperwork checks out.
Yeah, that's what it's like. So he comes out of nowhere and just creams everybody, and that's supposed to be okay. But they have,
and it wasn't even like by fractions of a second. Like, if I remember correctly,
no, it was like he was crushing records by like 7-8 seconds, like by multiple seconds.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, so trans people belong on the same teams. Trans people have the same right to play sports as anyone else. You're right, in their own fucking league, like every other gender.
Either they play with the league that they're assigned with the gender at birth, or they play in a trans league. If that's the case, you want to make it inclusive, don't do it. Just do a trans league.
Here's what I say:
where the men and the women can all compete against each other.
You know what I say? If they're going to do this, they should allow all athletes to just fucking take steroids. They're just gonna do different like chemicals and shit in their body anyway. It's like, fuck it, let's make baseball fun. It was like back in the 90s. There was, we want to make the baseball, the games, that was their big, this is a complete fucking side note, people, but that was their big thing in the last few years. They wanted baseball to be more exciting, so they've sped up the game. Like, there's a pitch clock now. It's like 30 seconds in between pitches to make it speed up. Because, you know, when the Yankees and Red Sox are both hot and it's in September and they're having fucking 3 hour and 45-minute games, apparently people get butthurt about that. Not this guy. But they want to speed up the game, make it more exciting. And they have like, we're going to start like extra innings with a runner on second base and all this stupid shit. And when double headers, now they're only 7 innings instead of 9. Bunch of fucking dumb shit. You really want to make this more exciting? So this is to you. MLB, add steroids back into the fucking sport.
And make them mandatory.
Yeah. And make it like wrestling in the 80s. Cocaine and steroids.
If they're not murdering their wives, husbands, and children with bench lifting equipment, they cannot be allowed to play. Rest in peace,
Chris Benoit.
Rabid Wolverine.
Yeah, he was a shithead, but but yeah, add steroids back into the sport, and let's have like the league average of steroids be like fucking 38. Like they got fucking Tony Womack, the specialist of stealing bases back in the early 2000s, hitting 16 home runs in his first fucking month. Barry Bonds, like, he's hitting home runs. Like, I hit 40. What is it? It's May 6th.
That's a good thing. I still got 8 months to go.
Yeah. That'll make it more exciting. Anyway, I digress. Going all the way back, yeah. So they're going to do all this stupid shit, whatever.
Jesus Christ.
Now going all the way back to what you were saying before with that video that woman
Oh yeah, the white
and the
woman,
riots.
black
This has
boyfriend.
to do with all the riots going on in L.A. and Chicago and probably some other places too. But it's like we're just in spring. Already, here we go, starting with riots. In Chicago, I think the video you were talking about was Chicago as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one where there was a bunch of teens going through and just, was it last weekend?
Oh yeah, last weekend or the weekend before.
I think it was last week.
Last weekend, yeah.
And they were just breaking shit and like running into Walmart is leaving Chicago. They're closing like what, 2, 3, 4? Yeah,
4 stores,
Walmart, because
and they don't care.
well, they said no, they don't. They're a big enough company. They said, well, it's not profitable. That's the reason they give, which is true. It's not profitable in Chicago, but not for the reason that most places that close aren't profitable. Because they go to, in Chicago, Walmart's not profitable because everything they ship in, probably a third of it is fucking disappears.
I was gonna say, people for a while were posting videos of just fucking stealing and walking out, getting chased, fighting people. These people were like, hey, you gotta stop. They hit the fucking the employee, and leave with this shit. Yeah, of course Walmart's not going to be profitable because you're stealing fucking 50% of what rolls into that place. There's videos of people fucking changing diapers of their kids, opening a box, putting the box back on the shelf, and leaving. There's fucking kids opening Lunchables, walk to the store, I don't like this, throws it on the floor, eats the rest. You wonder why the fucking store is closing? Try not fucking stealing.
Well, you know what's funny too is they're taking, the stores are leaving, or Walmart specifically is leaving the area, which is not only taking jobs out of the area, but they're also taking food out of the area. And like one of the excuses for all these riots was because of the lack of income and the necessity. Was it Lightfoot said there's a necessity here because they're breaking into these stores because they need food and whatever supplies, whatever they need, diapers, formula, all that kind of stuff. But I've also seen a bunch of videos of them breaking into electronic stores, maybe Walmart too, and stealing TVs and shoes and shit like that. And then there was one person, I saw a video where they said, well, this is for reparations. Like, it's like, okay, I guess.
Oh, if anybody had to flip that bill, I'm glad Walmart, Amazon should step up and tag a few, throw a few bills in there too. But I'm glad they could do it. I'm glad they decided to let them be the ones to do it. No, at the end of the day, I don't. It's bullshit. People are stealing because they can't afford it. What's wrong with your system then? You've drove it. There's a video before Lightfoot left. Why are so many businesses leaving Chicago? Nobody's left. What? You fucking crazy Beetlejuice looking shit.
Well, she's also the one that said the reason for these riots was a majority of the students that were going downtown during these riots weren't going down there. They're going down to enjoy the city. She said there was a few bad actors that went down there to start trouble, and they're the ones that got involved with all this. Then there was the video of, this is where, like you brought up earlier, that woman and guy that just got jumped by a fucking mob. Was that a hate crime?
Absolutely. Whoopi Goldberg will sit there and tell you no, because you can't be racist against white people. But an act of violence is committed based on the textbook definition of racism is an act of hatred or violence or anything negative towards another person based on the color of their skin or the race, their ethnicity, based on their ethnicity.
Would you call this a lynch mob?
This is going to sound kind of goofy, but what does a lynch mob mean to you?
A lynch mob?
Yes.
That means a group of people that will get together and be like, get that fucker.
See, a lynch mob to me was always kind of like an in heat of the moment, let's just fucking do stand up, stupid shit kind of people. Didn't matter if it was attacking one person, flipping a car, like back in Detroit when the Red Wings won the Stanley Cup.
Or Philly when they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, let's just flip a car. That's a lynch mob. To me, that's what I always thought a lynch mob was.
That's their version of a flash mob.
So that's what that's why I asked, because I've always considered a lynch mob a random group of people who just out of sheer randomness band together and commit some sort of random act of violence.
That's just a riot.
Well, no, a riot is going down, looting stores and doing all that, but sitting there fucking hooting and hollering and running through the streets, yeah, we won the Super Bowl, and they flip a car. They don't flip every car. They don't break into a bunch of stores and steal shit.
Just the American-made ones.
They flip that one car and they go about hooting and hollering. That's what a lynch mob to me always used to be.
A band of people intent on lynching someone.
Back in the day, that's what a lynch mob was, yes.
Right.
Oh, maybe I've always had it wrong.
A crowd of people who kill or try to kill someone illegally as a punishment.
That was not a lynch mob then. Okay, regardless of which. By my definition, your definition, and what that definition actually says, no. In my opinion, that was not a lynch mob. That was sheer, fuck this white chick, let's beat her up. And then because the black guy decided to try to defend her, her boyfriend, he got jumped to. Which is where Whoopi...
I saw it the other way. I thought the boyfriend was doing or saying something which attracted this mob, and then she stood in to defend him, and she got... I don't know if she got the brunt of the pummeling. I think she just more got pushed to the ground. But I think she got pushed to the ground by her throat, and then he got
they both got beat up pretty good.
Did they?
Both
I didn't see any.
There were stories going she lost her leg, she's in a coma, she lost an eye, she's dead, he was murdered. No, they both.
No, I know they're not dead.
They both walked away without any serious injuries, but they both didn't leave unscathed. They both got a bunch of good marks, from what I've heard. No, that by no means was a lynch mob. That was straight hate crime.
See, this, to lynch is to murder or unlawfully kill. When an angry mob kills someone they believe is guilty of a crime, they lynch that person.
I remember that. Learning that in school now, yep.
Yeah.
No.
See, the problem is I don't know exactly what he was saying or what he was doing and why they just targeted that guy.
Well,
is it because it was interracial? Because they were in an interracial relationship? Because I've heard that floating around. And if that's the case, then yes, it was. And to me, anyway, it was a lynch mob. I don't know for a fact, but...
Whoopi will sit there. Whoopi fucking Goldberg. I really hate that lady.
I think she's great. All the things she says, I think it's fantastic.
She will sit there and say, well, she had a black boyfriend, so that made it not about race.
Well,
she was actually, if I remember correctly in the video, she struck first, not the boyfriend.
No. I don't know. I bring that up because Joe Biden, his administration, they recently signed a bill that says any kind of lynch mob activity like that is an instant felony?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't believe... To date, anyway, no charge has been brought up or anything like that. To my knowledge. Yeah, and Lori Lightfoot also said most of the kids in this riot were rioting because they had nothing better to do. Which makes it okay. As long as there was a reason, they had nothing to do, so they decided to riot. Mostly peaceful. It was a mostly peaceful protest of something. What are you looking for?
Trying to see. People from the group hit the couple several times before taking their belongings and running away. The video was posted with a caption across it. Yay, we get active.
I did see that. Yeah. I did see that.
Hold on.
Just their version of a protest or whatever it was, and then they just fucking...
They pushed him. So, okay, here we go. In an interview on Fox News, the man and woman identified as DJ and Ashley said they were downtown trying to shop and dine when they came across the large group. They had just left Nordstrom DJ said, when they were attacked at random and robbed.
Mm-hmm.
They pushed him, they pushed me, Ashley recalled. DJ then asked the group to stop, she said, and everything went crazy. They said they were going to kill us. They turned around and started fighting. I got pushed down to the ground.
Yeah.
So they were asked to stop. What the fuck? The street got pretty bad. Dislocated. She got a black eye. Nose swollen and dislocated shoulder. He got beat up pretty bad. The group stole the pair's shoes, phones, an Apple Watch, hat, and glasses. Cops drove right by it, DJ said.
Yeah, because if you see videos too, and I don't know if it's Shapiro or somewhere I saw this, there's a ton of different videos of like the looting and all that kind of bullshit. Just like 2020, Summer of Love. But there, like after the fact, there was like cars out in the street, not parking lots or anything. They were in the street, like peeling around like Fast and Furious and shit like that, doing circles and figure eights and all this shit, which is fucking illegal. But there's not enough police officers in these democratically run cities. There's just not. You won't even say democratically run cities. There's just not enough police officers. And when shit like this goes down, defund the police.
And all of a sudden they're saying, well, the police left, and that's why this is happening.
Because a lot of times they even, I shouldn't say a lot of times, but there's instances where they get stand down orders. Don't engage it. Why? Because everything's like racial now. Because if you engage it and some shit happens, now everyone's going to come against that police department. And that just goes all the way back. If they do something and something happens to a black teen or whoever, then the media will get a hold of it, run with it, and it'll be horrible. If you don't do anything, the left will just say, we'll get a hold of it, and you'll just be like this. You'll be demonized. The whole department will be demonized. If you don't do anything, as in this case, what's the right going to do? They're going to look and be like, why the fuck aren't they doing anything? We need more police. And it'll stop there. And the whole thing will just be pushed aside because the right, again, doesn't fucking do anything. And the left just keeps pushing and pushing and pushing and getting crazier shit passed. Now we're at the point where just police officers can go by, which I thought they had an oath they swore when they take a job. They just go right by crime and be like,
It's a sad fucking day. And with all these, you hear about all these shootings going on?
Yeah, that is like that's actually, I'll skip one down. There's a bunch of these random mass shootings and whatnot. There was the one that's got the most news is that black boy that went to the wrong house and got shot. It was Ralph Yarl. It was like a 16-year-old who went to go pick up his brother or something like that, or a couple brothers, and went to the wrong house in the wrong block and knocked on the door but went to open it, and then a 65-year-old, I think it was 65, no 85, that's what it was, the 85-year-old guy, I don't know if he shot through the door or when the kid opened it up, shot him in the leg. And I think he got shot twice. The initial report on media was he was shot and killed, which wasn't true. He survived. But, you know, what's the saying is a lie will make it halfway around the world before the truth laces up its shoes. So that's one more thing. Oh, he got shot and killed. It must have been a racial thing. Immediately it was a racial attack. But the more you listen to like what actually happened, it just sounds like this was two people that just made critical mistakes. Like one kid that went to the wrong house, thought he was one place, went to open the door to go get his brothers, and then another guy who thought he was being robbed and shot the kid. Now, from what I gathered to this point, that's what it legitimately sounds like. Maybe there's something else that hasn't come to light or I just haven't heard, but that's what that sounds like. Just fucking wrong place, wrong time for both parties. It's a shame. Yeah. But like I said, he wasn't killed. But the media, CNN or whoever, ran with that. He was murdered. It's racist. So now that guy's got that on him. Added on to that, Another one that happened about the same time, which you didn't really hear much about, was right in upstate New York. That was the Kaylin Gillis.
She got shot. She's turning around in the driveway.
Yeah, her and a friend, I guess, got shot by a 65-year-old man, for turning around in someone's driveway and shot her from his porch. That one sounds more like malcontent, because I guess he's had a history of mental problems, and his ex-wife of like 13 or 15 years prior came out and said, now granted this is from an ex-wife, so you can fucking hear whatever. It's like, I fucking knew he was crazy. Probably racist too. He's colorblind though.
He's black.
Oh,
I think it was a black guy.
Wouldn't matter. He's racist. So she gets shot.
Wow.
But you don't hear much about that. On top of that, there was another one in Texas. The Texas one was, I don't know if I got Peyton Washington, who was shot. She went to the wrong door of a car and was shot. Yeah. But that one, the story in that one's weird, because there was one report where said they were just done with cheerleader practice, but it was like 8 in the morning. It was like, well, that's a weird time to get done with cheerleader practice. So that might have been just a miss report or something like that. This is all within the last week. And then there were the 3 teens that really wasn't reported on. I had no idea about this one until I think it was, I don't know if it was Charlie Kirk or somewhere I heard this. There was 3 black teens that went to a Sweet 16 birthday party and shot up. It was like 32 people, or four were killed and 32 were injured. And that was another one that you did not see. So it's like, how come the 3 that were shot, either black on black or black on white, and were killed, were barely, if at all, reported on, but the one that survived was reported as a murder and blown up all over. Like,
it's funny that these are the ones you've talked about, and this is the one I knew you wouldn't talk about.
Yeah.
Suspect shot 6-year-old little girl and her parents in North Carolina, caught in Florida. He shot them, all 3 of them, because the basketball her basketball rolled into his yard. It was a black guy, white family, against the white family.
I think I might have heard of that somewhere. It sounds vaguely familiar. Maybe not. No, maybe not. But there again, it's just another one. It's just another fucking...
According to several neighbors, the incident began Tuesday when a basketball rolled into Singletary's yard, and he yelled at the kids who went to retrieve it. One of the kids told his father, who then went to Singletary's house and said something to the effect of, "Stop cussing my kid out. If you got a problem, come to me and we can work it out," according to 3 neighbors. Singletary then walks inside, came out with a gun, and opened fire at the neighbors, wounding a 6-year-old girl, and her parents, the neighbors said. "We never expected anybody." The 6-year-old girl was hit in the cheek. She was shot in the face. "I couldn't get inside in time, so he shot my daddy in the back." The girl's mother told doctors they removed bullet fragments from her daughter's cheek, and then noted that her elbow was grazed by a bullet.
So how long before they go after guns and actually get them?
Oh, this also mentions the incident was another case in the past week in which young people were shot after making a common blunder, including 2 teen cheerleaders mistakenly approaching someone else's vehicle in a Texas grocery store parking lot, a 16-year-old who rang the wrong doorbell in Kansas City, and a 20-year-old who turned into the wrong New York driveway.
Right. And then added on the other 2. Or 3.
So here's the thing. Regardless of what's being propagated, what's being promoted, what's being shown, what's viral, what's being seen the most versus what's not, in a time when everything is coming under fire. Right here. This is the kind of shit that is going to get the ball rolling all over again. Because what are we coming up to? Halfway through the 2023 year. What's going to start next year? Campaigning.
Primaries.
All this shit is going to start coming up, and it's all going to be platforms.
Speaking of just primaries, you see when they pushed the next hearing for Trump's?
Right before it, or the day right before
They
it?
wanted it January, which would be like the start of the Republican primary.
So they can't announce them or something like that?
Yeah, but I guess they're going to do it early December, which is still, it's like a month away. But yeah, they're going to do that, which when they did that, I'm like, and like I said, still, the even Democratic left lawmakers and lawyers, they look at it and be like, this is really, really thin. Like, I just don't see what they're going after here. I think what my uncle said when he first told me about the thing weeks ago, he said, they're just this is just for the perp walk. This is just to get the image out there of Trump in cuffs, and they're trying to stretch this into a felony. And it was like 34 felonies. This is just to get it so his image is hurt right before the elections, or right before the primaries.
It's not going to do it.
This might just turn him into a martyr. It's going to be one extreme or another. It's either just it's going to fizzle him right out of the whole election talk, and then DeSantis will be the guy, or it'll turn him into a martyr, and he'll just have this massive outpouring of support and voters. I don't really know which way it would go. That's kind of like a milquetoast fence sitter approach, but I don't really know. So with all these shootings, anyway,
I don't think they're going to go for the guns. That'll be that's like abortion. The whole Roe v. Wade thing was an anomaly, if you ask me.
they still don't fucking know who leaked that.
Oh,
No
God.
idea who leaked the fucking Roe v. Wade. Remember, it's last
Yeah.
April, or whenever it was. Last year, they leaked that.
I
Still
don't-
haven't gotten the hold of that, whoever did that, but they're right on Trump. Alec Baldwin got acquitted, but get that fucking Trump.
That's going to be one of those never-ending vicious circle fights.
Probably.
Abortion, guns, drugs.
Well, I think most people with drugs are in agreement. The problem is how you
Well, no, here we are now. Weed is legal. I'm not talking like the hardcore drugs.
Oh, all right.
That kind of shit. No, that should never be legalized.
No.
But like,
Actually, there's people that argue that. Be like, legalize it all?
I shouldn't have to suck dick for rock. I should just get given it to it.
I should just want to do it
my
because I
food
want to
stamps.
do it.
My food stamps should give me that rock.
Food stamps. Welfare. Did you see Ted DiBiase and his son? And they had some connection to Brett Favre as well. Got nabbed for welfare fraud or some shit. I haven't looked at all. I just saw the thing today. I haven't looked into it.
The
but-
professional wrestlers?
yeah.
Oh my God. Welfare fraud?
Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Yeah, but it had something to do with Brett Favre too. I'll have to look it up and bring it up next time. But
I'm curious about that one.
yeah, it's fucking weird. But anyway, Matt Walsh getting hacked and his info leaked on Twitter. His phone got hacked and a bunch of fucking info and stuff like all his info was leaked on Twitter. And I guess a journalist from Wired tried to obtain the leaked info and was permanently banned from Twitter. So then it's like, so that just shows like journalists are now trying to work with hackers and fucking blackmail artists and shit. And I guess Michael Knowles, he was on. You know who that is, right?
Yeah, that guy's been making a lot of videos,
He was on.
a lot of appearances on TikTok lately.
Yeah, he was. He works for the Daily Wire. He was just on Tim Pool. He's talking about this. He had a speaking event or something like that, and the left gathered outside of his event and actually got it shut down.
No, wasn't that Charlie Kirk?
No,
speech?
this is Michael Knowles. They were talking about
That busted in the windows on the doors or something like that?
Maybe, yeah, I'm sure
It was
it's
a
happened.
video.
But this was they gathered, they burned an effigy of him outside of it. They threw small explosives like fireworks into there, cracking or causing a lockdown outside of the hall where he was supposed to have a debate against someone, and no charges were brought up. That's okay.
But if enough people who feel like there needs to be a review commission on an election that marched to the Capitol on January 6th, not even the people that didn't set foot, that stayed outside. At one point, if you remember, everyone that showed, they were trying to charge.
Even
But that's one of the most violent things America's ever had to experience. You know, like World War I, World War II, the Holocaust, slavery.
Is this a mental...
January 6th, 9/11.
Is this a mental illness?
Don't fuck you.
Or are we just in a mass psychosis, mental illness?
I don't think we're... No, I don't think we're in a mass psychosis of mental illness. I think we are in a...
Simulated reality? Is this a simulation?
I fucking...
Is this someone just fucking with the programming? Is this like one of us, me and you, like sneaking into the control board while they're taking a coffee break? We're like... They're taking off, and when they come in, fuck!
It's going to take us days to fix this code.
God damn it.
For us, it's 100 years. For them, it's 2 hours.
Yeah.
I think it's more of we are in a mass state of disillusionment.
Yeah. Caused by?
Just sheer ignorance. Everybody, they've got so many people wound up with fear, and when you can't wind them up with fear, you wind them up with anger, and when you can't wind them up with anger, you wind them up with fucking aggression.
Do you think, this is kind of a rhetorical question, but do you think that mental illness has become a trend? As in, there's so many, specifically TikTok, but there's on YouTube as well. There's so many channels that are dedicated with people, content creators that put things out who have tics, who are bipolar, who have some kind of transition, what have you. There was the case before of people developing tics from TikTok just by getting like an influx of different people with what do you call it?
Tourette's?
Yeah, Tourette's syndrome. And they developed these tics from watching videos. Didn't have Tourette's syndrome. They developed them. And there's people out there that have their channels are people with Tourette's syndrome, or at least what they think is Tourette's syndrome, what they call Tourette's syndrome, but they aren't actually diagnosed with anything. They don't have it.
I don't think it's a trend.
Multiple personality, that's another one.
Sorry.
Basically, it's like the victim mentality. I guess it's kind of that.
I wouldn't say so much as a trend or a mentality as it is a crutch. It's become a crutch for anything to lean on to get its stability.
That's what I mean. The trend is that.
Well, no.
Like, because what do you have, like, you call the crutch for whatever fear we were talking about before is like everything's a crisis. We're always in crisis mode for everything now. So now there's a crutch of like how are you going to deal with it? Like drug use, whatever fuck thing. But now what is like the easiest thing for people to do is like, well, here's my crutch. I have this issue. I'm just running with your idea with what I'm trying to say.
Well,
so I have this issue and it's getting me a lot of attention and it's getting me validation for whatever I feel or whatever I think. So some of it is bipolar. Most of the most popular ones is Tourette's syndrome. So now all these people like are showing. There's all these channels popping up of people with mental disorders, and they're exemplifying it and they're pushing it to like the front. Again, Dylan Mulvaney. There's another one. They're taking this thing and just running with it to the nth degree. And that's what's getting them, the algorithmic push is putting them to the forefront, which is causing more people to look at all of these videos and be like, oh, wow, look at the attention they're getting. If it's not trans, it's its mental disabilities or mental conditions. And be like, wow, I think I do too. There's more and more people now that are getting diagnosed with depression issues, with bipolar disorder, with what's another one?
Schizophrenia, multiple personality.
Yeah, there's schizo. That's on fucking Hulu or YouTube or anything. You know how many ads I get on there for some kind of mental, like pills to cure schizophrenia is one specific one. You just said that. That's why I bring it up.
Well, it's funny. YouTube, you bring up YouTube because YouTube is where that made me think about that.
Yeah, they're pushing all this medication to push it out there. It's like, oh, there's more. Are we really at the point where there's that many people with mental conditions now in the United States? Have we always been this fucking crazy? Or, like I said, is this just a trend? Is this a trend where everyone now is like, oh, I have a mental condition, so now everyone needs to look at me and be... Eh.
It's not that. Where my crutch... where the concept of it's a crutch is coming from, everything can be blamed on it now. It's trending, and everyone's developing all these things because it's happening. We are putting out these pills because there's mental illness. We are making these decisions because we're under duress. Body dysmorphia, gender dysphoria, schizophrenia, bipolar, chronic depression, anger issues, behavioral disorders, impulse control disorders, hard left leaner, hard left thinkers or hard right thinkers.
So do you?
Everybody's got a mental illness, or people are acting the way they're doing because there's a mental illness. It's being used as a crutch. That's what I mean. Everything can get blamed on it, and you can't say anything about it. Because how many okay. Growing up, you remember back in the 90s.
Mm.
Remember what the big old funny pill to give kids was back then?
Ritalin.
So you find the South Park.
It would turn kids into zombies.
South Park did the best episode. They read The Great Gatsby, read the whole book. Now on page 2, paragraph, do you remember what so-and-so was wearing? No. Ritalin, he's got ADHD.
Yeah.
And nobody fought it. Nobody argued with it.
No.
Because everybody was so afraid that there were so many problems going on, they took the first answer to the solutions they possibly could. They're
doctors. They know what they're talking about. Give me that.
The first explanation that even remotely made people go, huh, everyone jumped on board.
Right.
You want to sit there and explain all these problems away? Teens looting because they're bored. Well, maybe they have ADHD. Maybe they're hyperactive.
Maybe.
And that's a mental disorder. Maybe. It's a mental illness, whatever it is.
Right.
It's a fucking crutch. You can explain everything away that's going on right now due to some mental disorder, mental illness, or some sort of fucking twisted scope of reality.
Okay, so let's fast forward. We get to the end of all this crazy shit that's going on right now. Let's just say, for this, not even for the sake of our argument, we'll say we get to the end of this timeline that we're in, and the police, like, we regain control of everything. Like, teens aren't running amok. They're not fucking deciding, well, I'm just gonna be some fucking horse or something now. Like, they're not doing any of that. We get to the end. It's like, all right, there's order again. There's like, we're normal again. Like, let's rewind to late 90s. Do you think with everything that you just said that medical, like doctors, pharmaceutical companies, they'll just explain the whole thing away and be like, well, it was psychosis.
Huh?
And it was a mental condition. So nobody will be blamed for anything.
And
Which is, that's big pharma anyway, but...
As it's been done with many and many a times. How much shit has been able to be explained away, been swept under the rug. You weren't in the right state of mind because you didn't have the proper medical attention, therapy attention, or whatever it was that you needed to get past that point in your life. Well, through everything going on, the human spirit has endeavored. The therapy worked. The pills did their jobs. Everybody, disciplined, like you said, rewind back to the late 90s when we had order. We don't know what it was, but it worked. We figured it out, and we're back in things. And, we get it. Some people made some bad decisions, but were they in the right state of mind? And nowadays, with everything, even the fact that I'll sit there, I hear a little bit of drink in there, a little splash, that could be labeled as an anxiety disorder right there.
Well, I mean, how many cans do you have?
Had. Past tense.
before he brought him back. So you going to Cancun or are you going to go to France with that money?
Actually, it wasn't.
You want to tell everyone how many cans you had in here?
In the course of about 8 months, 3,285 cans, bottles and cans.
Of?
Mostly soda. There might have been some beers in there. Maybe a few water bottles.
A few water bottles. And you fucking wonder how he had a kidney stone. Good God, man.
Piss and diamonds, buddy.
Bye.